Hi guys, it's Molly with Soul School Spiritual Guidance and Healing. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I just wanted to come on and make a video for you guys and share some resources. I don't have a reading for you guys at this time, and I do want to say pardon the mess in the background. I am in the midst of moving again. That's sort of the reason why I haven't really marked off a space for a collective reading today, and I'm not sure that I will for the rest of the week. Anyways, I do want to thank you guys for being here. And if you're interested in purchasing a personal reading, a live one, or a recorded reading from me, all the information you're going to find down in the description box below will help you to do that. All right. So, I've got some notes here, but as usual, I'm just kind of all over the place. This is not so much a channeled message as just some resources that I really want to share with you guys if you're interested in delving into channeled messages. All right. So we're going to have a bunch of links down in the description box below, and then we're going to tell you the kind of information that you will find at each of these links. But before I do that, I do want to talk a little bit about the tremendous change that my belief systems have gone through in the past couple of years, all right? And I also want to talk about the timeliness of this message. I feel deeply in my soul, not that it's a message that I've channeled, okay? And it's not anything that I've read or seen. There are hints of it here and there in my circles of information that's reaching me. I just feel in my soul that 2022 is going to be the year that we begin to see something that looks like disclosure, okay? And I'm talking about disclosure of the fact that we are not alone in this universe. I think that that could take many different forms. There could be, of course, government authoritative information coming out about encounters with UFOs. That's already out there, by the way. Information coming from world leaders about communications that they've had with extraterrestrial entities. That's out there if you dig around for it as well. But definitely, I believe that there's going to be some sort of undisputed evidence of contact between extraterrestrial beings and ancient civilizations. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards when I talk about the fact that disclosure is very much leaking into the collective consciousness at this time, at least in my reality, okay? The timeline that I'm on right now, this is happening, and it's crazy because years ago, if you had presented this theory to me, I would have been like, you're nuts, you're crazy. That's actually the internal dialogue I would have had with myself, and that I did have with myself when people would propose things like UFOs are real, aliens are communicating with human beings through meditation, ancient alien theories, stuff like that, okay? In fact, the final semester that I taught at the university, I taught an ancient history course. And I remember when I was talking about ancient civilizations being pre-scientific civilizations, there was this kid who raised his hand and was like, actually, the ancient alien theory completely disproves you. And I'm like, sorry, dude, I work for a Research One university. I can really only spend this time that y'all paid a bunch of money for to entertain peer-reviewed academic research. So I didn't shoot him down. I did my best to be like, I believe that anything's real. And that's true. But I had not seen enough to make me believe that this was real at that time, okay? That was back in 2011. Fast forward to 2019, there's this moment where I have this tremendous third eye awakening, third eye opening. I was in the middle of a reading for Megan Burnett, who is a psychic medium friend of mine. She does Meg's Color Vision, and I'm gonna make a note to post her info below because she might in fact do remote readings. I believe that she does. She's also a brand new mom. So I love the fact that this person was on my path at the time that they were. When I had this third eye opening, I can point to an exact moment in time where shit got real. Was part of a reading exchange between the two of us. So I was doing a reading for her, and then a couple weeks later, she did a reading for me that was life-changing. But one of the messages that she gave to me in that reading was, she said, Molly, you're literally going to completely relearn everything that you know to be true about the world. And I was like, well, shit. Because I sure did like feeling like I had it all figured out. But I have to tell you that everything that I've been through since that moment has absolutely changed my view of the world that we live in. The world that I used to believe in, I can now see is like a fraction of 1% of all that truly exists in the world. Okay, so why am I getting into this? Why am I spilling this experience out to you guys? It's because a lot of you have been through the same. I feel that there's probably a lot of you out there who can resonate with that. Okay, I used to be a scholar, an academic, an intellectual who always sort of believed in a little bit of the woo-woo, right? But if you find yourself having gone through a similar process in the past several years, or maybe you've been on board for a decade or more, I have no idea. But more and more of us are awakening to this reality. And it's for a reason that it's all happening right now, all right? Those of us at least who are participating with this particular timeline and this particular reality. I don't think you would have found this message if you were elsewhere, all right? So nonetheless, let's say hypothetically speaking, you used to think all this was craziness. Talking about extra dimensional entities, ETs, UFOs, all that stuff, right? You used to think it was crazy, but now you're like, I don't know. Let's dig into it. Let's look at the research, especially if you're somebody like me who operated for a very large portion of their life on a very logical, rational framework of seeing the world, and you feel like you want to see the research. That's what I'm sharing with you guys today, okay? These are some authors that I've been digging into, and as I got to searching around on the internet, I found that there are a ton of free resources that these authors have made available to everyone, and I'm just gonna point you guys in that direction, okay? So thanks for sticking through the intro. Now let's get down to the good stuff. You're gonna find all these links below, all right? The first one I wanna talk to you about is LL Research. And I've seen it sometimes L/L Research, and I believe it actually stands for Love Light. Okay, and that's just because that was a phrase that was often used during the channeling of the raw materials. The raw materials is for me, primary source of, is it a primary or is it a secondary? It's a primary source. That's interesting. As a historian, I never stopped to consider whether channeled literature is primary or secondary. Anyways, moving on, okay? This is basically was channeled by a team of people back in the 80s. I've talked about the history of the raw materials on my channel before, but this is a primary document for understanding the law of one. It also has a bunch of other crazy information in it. Like for me, it's a great big book. I would show it to you, but I've already packed my books away. It's a great big book. It comes in multiple volumes, and it's the language is dense because it's basically like an extra dimensional, higher dimensional being trying to make human language, right? So it gets a little like, what's this person talking about? And sometimes you have to pause for that. Sometimes you just have to sit down and be like, what the did I just read? Is this real? So it's really taken me some time, I guess, to be able to wrap my mind around all the information that I've gotten from the Law of One. And I haven't even finished the second book, right? I often share with you guys, lawofone.info is a website where you can go and you can actually search the text of this book. But I just found out that it's entirely available in PDF format for free on their website. So if you guys want to find that, the link is below to LL Research. And what's it called? llresearch.org, okay? If you go to library and then books, click on any of these books and you'll see a link to where you can go buy it on Amazon. But you guys, they're here for you in PDF format for free. You just download it from their website. You don't even have to go out there and search for like a bootleg version of it. I wouldn't know anything about that. Okay. So not only is the raw contact on here, the Law of One, there's different versions of it. One of these books that I haven't read yet, but I'm really excited to get into once I get a chance, is Living the Law of One. That is a book by Carla Ruckert, as well as a Wanderer's Handbook. Wanderer is the term that is used in the raw materials to refer to what you and I might call a starseed, okay? So if you think, or what's the subtitle here? An owner's manual for ETs and other spiritual outsiders. It's tremendous, you guys. It's such a helpful resource. I just want to let you guys know this book also available for free in PDF version on their website. Another one that I've just recently downloaded, and this stuff goes back to conscious channeled sessions from the 70s. It's called Voices of the Confederation. And there's a lot of really great information in there about what we would call the Galactic Federation. I've come across similar terms like that in all sorts of channeled literature. And Lyssa Royal Holt refers to the Federation of Worlds. There's the Galactic Federation. This one has a much longer title that's not shown here, but it's something like the Confederation of Planets in Service of the Love and Light, something like that, okay? And basically my understanding is that just as we have many, I don't even want to call them governing bodies, many advisory bodies within our global and national governments, it's just the same way that we have, there's multiple federations, confederations, groups of people, groups of entities, right? A lot of them are social memory complexes, meaning they have evolved to where they're still an individual spirit, but they work as part of a group mind, okay? That have been communicating with humanity for decades now. All right. So if you guys want to, this is some good stuff. By the way, Voices of the Confederation is conscious channeling, meaning it's kind of like if I'm doing a reading and I start channeling, I'm very conscious. I'm aware of that. Whereas the Law of One materials, the raw materials are, the channel is in a trance state and is not aware necessarily of the communications as they're taking place. If you guys are interested in digging into the types of channeling that exist, L&L Research is going to give you some really good information on that. In fact, there is a channeling handbook available on that site. And if you guys look at the messages that were coming through in the 70s in Voices of the Confederation, the message was, we'd love to talk to as many of you as possible. Heck, we'd love to land our UFOs and just come out and shake your hands and hang out, but certain things prevent us from doing that. So basically, when I'm speaking in, of course, the voice of these channeled entities, but they explain that they'd love to be in communication with as many people on this planet as they can be at this time. It's an open invitation if you're interested in becoming a channel on a personal or a public level. This is some good information, all right? A channeling handbook, secrets of the UFO, lots and lots and lots of good research about their very long history of channeling extra-dimensional entities, okay? Somebody else who has a long and remarkable history, I talk about her all the time. Please know, I don't even know Lyssa Royal Holt. I don't have any connection with her as a person. She doesn't pay me to say these wonderful things about her, but this woman is amazing. Much like Carla Rooker, a very, very, very prolific channel. And she also provides a lot of resources to people who are looking to make contact. Like, she has contact retreats where she talks about if you're wanting to have an encounter with a physical manifestation of extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional life, i.e. UFO sightings, something like that. She addresses that, but she also talks about the internal barriers that exist to becoming extra-dimensional channels. And she talks about how to break down some of those barriers. You're gonna find a ton of information on her website, which is lyssaroyal.net. It's also going to be linked to below. Let me tell you where to go. Click on the link that says library. You're going to see that there are free articles. There are free transcripts. Transcripts are basically the transcription of a channeling session. And many of them are question and answer, where you have people asking questions to the channeled entity, and then it's being responded to in these transcripts. Also, tons of great, she's got a free media library. I haven't even seen what the audio is like. Oh yeah, there's lots of good audio clips on here. And I'm gonna tell you guys, the real wealth of resources is in the free transcripts library. It's probably kind of gonna blow your mind. She talks about a number of topics, from certain global disasters and what meaning they have for us on an energetic and almost karmic level. She talks about the consciousness of dolphins. They do a lot of work with dolphins, and her husband Ronald Holt does has some videos on quantum navigation. Now, that information, along with a ton of videos from Lyssa Royal Holt, is going to be found on the SOLi School/Lyssa Royal Holt YouTube channel. I'm also going to link to that below. But basically, she talks about a lot about galactic history, our galactic guides, what those different civilizations were like and are like, and how they're assisting us at this time. She talks about quantum healing, galactic healing, quantum consciousness. Did I already say this? Ronald Holt talks about quantum navigation. Once you tap into the quantum field, how do you navigate that in a way that creates real tangible results in your life? Okay. She also, I've used on this channel the Galactic Heritage Cards deck. She has basically like 23 hours of video, because what is there, like 108 cards in that deck, where she goes through and she talks about the deeper meaning in each of those cards. Those are all channeled sessions, and like I said, there's over 23 hours of video on her YouTube channel. And if you're looking for that information, the title of the series is Journey Through the Galactic Heritage Cards, okay? I've also recommended on my channel several books. Millennium, Tools for the coming changes. Let's see if, because I can probably like pull this up so I don't have to use my memory. The Prism of Lyra and the Golden Lake are a couple of books that I have. A lot of the information that she addresses in these books is also coming out in these transcripts and videos and interviews, and there's just so much. You guys, once you really start scratching underneath the surface of channeled literature, the first problem you're going to encounter is how much of it there is. And then filtering through that to say, well, what do I trust? And if you guys are willing to just kind of like, I don't know, consider my 2 cents, these are the resources that I trust, okay? So, I'm not trying to convert anybody, but if you guys are already in this line of thought, this is some good stuff, okay? Finally, Dolores Cannon. Okay, now Dolores Cannon, you may know as the author of the Convoluted Universe series, as well as the, what is it called? The 3 Waves of Volunteers is something else that she talks about. If you're unfamiliar with her work, she is not a channel, she's a hypnotherapist. And essentially, when she's doing her hypnotherapy sessions, the subject that is hypnotized, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis, becomes the channel. And if you guys are interested in learning more about her, there's YouTube videos. Look up Dolores Cannon and you'll find them all over the place, okay? I'll do my best to link to you guys. I don't know if she has she has a page. I follow it. I'll link that to you guys down below as well. But basically what she began to discover in these interviews, they're called interviews, but they're transcripts of hypnosis sessions. And in the beginning, you just have people be like, oh, I'm a baker in the 1910s, and this is what my life is like, and this is the lessons that I've learned. And pretty soon, she begins opening up to people who are recalling past lives as aliens on other planets, as particles in the universe, as stars and suns and waves, and it's just tremendous. To really see all the different manifestations of consciousness that are possible, okay? So if you guys are interested in digging into that, I'm not going to promote digging around online to see if you can find any PDF versions of these books that are not in the public domain, okay? If you can afford these books, buy these books. If you cannot and you're interested, dig around and find the information that is available to you online, because you guys, there's so much of it. And also, if you've read the books that I read, then we can talk about that, and how fun would that be, okay? But that's what I've got for you guys today. I love you so much. Thanks for being here with me on the woo-woo train. Next time I see you, I will probably be in a different location. And check out my blog. Thanks to everybody who's already done that. We'll make sure there's a link to that below as well. I've got a piece that I'm working on right now about my year of living intuitively and some of the tremendously valuable lessons that I've learned through that experience that I'm really happy to share with you guys. So we definitely have stuff coming up, even if it doesn't look like what it did in the past. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being you guys. I love you. I'll see you soon.